Hey guys, Matt Goodwin. I would like you to compare and contrast the reaction in Westminster to two television shows that I'm sure you've heard about. The first is Adolescence, the Netflix drama. Remember, it's a fictional drama about a young white boy who stabs to death, who murders a young white girl. And of course, this generated a really interesting reaction in Westminster. Keir Starmer, the Labour Prime Minister, organised a special summit to discuss adolescence, to discuss misogyny, to discuss how we can push back against online influencers like Andrew Tate. He even backed calls to show adolescence in every school across the country. There was a moral panic among the Westminster political and cultural class. Adolescents seemed to chime so well with their suspicion towards white working class boys. Fast forward and compare their reaction to a second television show, actually documentary, called Groomed, a national scandal. What was that documentary about? Well, that documentary was about the industrial scale rape and sexual assault of young white working class girls by Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. It went into detail showing how the victims of the rape gangs were often blamed for their own abuse, how authorities, social workers, police authorities mysteriously closed down investigations into the rape gangs and sometimes just looked the other way. And it showed how this was a systemic national scandal, that the rape gangs have been active in upwards of 50 towns and cities across the country. Now, when something is systemic, you have a national inquiry to look at a systemic issue. But as we know, the reaction to the rape gang scandal has been slightly different to the reaction to adolescence. There has been no number 10 Downing Street summit. Keir Starmer has not become emotional in front of the cameras, saying how difficult it was for him to watch that documentary, like he said, for adolescence. And so far, I've not heard any frontline politician in Westminster call for the Groomed documentary, an actual factual documentary, to be shown in secondary schools up and down this country. What explains the difference? Well, I would argue the reaction reflects the belief system of our elite class, which is suspicious of the white British majority, that basically views the majority as being inherently problematic, being morally compromised, being a group that they should always view with suspicion, if not contempt. At the same time, the rape gang scandal turns on its head the tendency of the elite class to view minority groups as being the victimized, the oppressed, the persecuted, the virtuous groups. It's not easy to do that when the minority group is persecuting, raping, and abusing children of the majority. And that is why the rape gang scandal has been so difficult for the ruling class to get its head around. On the one hand, yes, the Labour Party does depend upon British Muslim communities for large numbers of votes, but it isn't only that. The belief system of the elite class leads it to view the majority with suspicion and to celebrate minorities. This is what is called asymmetrical multiculturalism, namely the belief that you should always protect and promote the distinctive identities, cultures, traditions, and histories of minorities, while at the same time downplaying the identities, histories, and traditions of the majority, or encouraging the majority group to simply reshape their entire identity around the celebration of diversity. So, of course, that ends up with groups feeling very resentful. Minorities are supported, protected, and when they violate social norms or laws, they are given a free pass. The majority is, on the other hand, told to suppress its identity. It's told to suppress its own values, its distinctive history, and its distinctive culture. That is what is breeding resentment in this country. It is a two-tier system which is falling over itself, as we saw in the legal system with the Sentencing Council, to help minorities, but to clamp down on the majority. Look, for example, at another case that we've had over the last couple of weeks. An illegal migrant comes into the country from Ethiopia on one of the small boats. He assaults 2 police officers. He does not go to jail. So this is a guy who's broken our laws, has come into the country illegally, has assaulted 2 female police officers, and he doesn't go to prison. Compare and contrast that with Lucy Connolly, a member of the white British majority group, a young mother, a wife, her husband's very sick. She tweeted something silly after the Southport atrocities. 4 hours later, she deleted that. She thought better of herself. She deleted it. She thought, okay, this isn't appropriate. She got nearly 3 years in prison. Now, if that is not a two-tier system, I do not know what is. And this is the problem with modern Britain. This is why people are so fed up. They see a model of multiculturalism that basically says we can celebrate and defend these groups, but not these groups over here. And we have a two-tier system that is now falling over itself to make life easier for members of minority groups, but giving them advantages and being more lenient in a way that they are not doing that for members of the majority. So it is really violating the British people's underlying sense of fairness and fair play, which has long been central to our political culture, and instead it's leaving people with a shocking sense of unfairness, a sense that actually this system is rigged against members of the majority, and they're absolutely sick of it. So this isn't just about Adolescence, and it isn't just about Groomed, a very powerful documentary. I recommend everybody out there goes to watch it. It was on Channel 4. It's very, very powerful. And it really throws full light on that horrific scandal, probably the most horrific scandal in British history, and indeed the scale of which we still don't know. If Keir Starmer wanted to do the right thing, he would be giving those girls the truth and justice they deserve by holding a national statutory inquiry, by committing to deporting dual nationals in this country who are convicted of rape gang activity. And so if they hold a British passport, a Pakistani passport, they are deported out of the country, and he would be punishing all those social workers and police officers who knew about this scandal and did absolutely nothing. Because that, I think, at the end of the day, is the kind of justice that those girls deserve to see. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Then you'll get all of our videos in a live feed. Let's keep pushing back against this nonsense and this culture that we have in this country by building an alternative community. Thanks. Bye-bye.
5 inquiries the government were going to hold have now been cancelled.